Stop. Before you clean your hands and toss that empty oil jug in the bin, realize this. 80% of premature engine failures aren't caused by the oil itself. They are caused by what the driver fails to do in the 20 minutes immediately following the change. You can buy the most expensive Group 4 PAO synthetic on the market, but if you skip the internal seating ritual, you are essentially leaving your bearings out to dry. Today, I'm stripping away the drain and fill amateur habits and giving you the professional post-service protocol used by high-mileage specialists to push engines past the 500,000-mile mark. If you want your car to feel factory new for the next decade, pay attention, especially to the very last step, because it's the only thing standing between you and a mystery oil leak that could starve your engine on the highway. Step 1. Check for leaks under pressure. Most DIYers look for a leak while the car is off. That is a massive rookie mistake. Static pressure is nothing. It's dynamic pressure that kills engines. Once that fresh oil is in, you need to fire up the engine and let it reach operating temperature for about 3 minutes. While it's idling, take a high-lumen flashlight and get back under there. You aren't just looking for a puddle, you're looking for weeping around the base of the oil filter gasket or the crush washer. If you see even a shimmer of moisture, that seal isn't seated. Have someone lightly blip the throttle to 2,500 RPM. This spikes the oil pressure and forces any weakness in the seals to reveal itself now rather than at 70 miles per hour. Is your driveway clean, or are you currently painting it with $50 worth of synthetic gold? Step 2. Reset the oil life monitor. Think of your car's ECU as a brain that's currently hallucinating. It doesn't see the new oil, it only remembers how hard you drove on the old sheared down stuff. If you don't perform the manual handshake to reset that monitor, the computer will continue to adjust fuel trims and spark timing based on the friction coefficients of dirty oil. Whether it's the pedal dance on a Ford or the steering wheel menu on a Honda, this isn't just for the light on the dash, it's for the oil-grade logic in your engine's mapping. Have you checked your owner's manual for the specific sequence lately, or are you just guessing? Step 3. Top off and verify oil level the right way. The biggest lie in car care is the fill capacity listed in your manual. That number is an estimate, not a law. After your initial 5-minute warm-up, shut the engine off and wait exactly 3 minutes. This allows the oil suspended in the cylinder heads to drain back into the pan for an honest reading. Pull the stick, wipe it perfectly clean, and re-dip. If you're even a 1/16 of an inch below the max line, add oil in 4-ounce increments. Why the precision? Because modern engines with variable valve timing, or VVT, rely on oil volume to act as a hydraulic fluid. Being half a quart low can cause cam phaser chatter, while overfilling leads to windage, where the crankshaft whips the oil into a frothy latte that provides zero lubrication. Which side of that line are you on? Step 4. Inspect and replace the oil cap O-ring. This is the silent vacuum leak nobody talks about. That rubber seal on your oil fill cap undergoes thousands of heat cycles. When it hardens, it loses its ability to hold a vacuum. Since modern crankcases are sealed systems, a brittle O-ring allows unmetered air into the engine, throwing off your air-fuel ratio and inviting moisture to condense inside your valve covers. If your cap feels easy to turn, or you see a film of dust around the filler neck, your O-ring is dead. A $3 replacement can prevent the dreaded yellow sludge from forming under your valve cover. When was the last time you actually looked at the underside of your cap? Step 5. Prime the oil system before heavy driving. You just drained the lifeblood out of every gallery and passage. When you first start that engine, there is a split second of metal-on-metal contact before the pump can prime the system. Professionals never rev a fresh oil change. Let the car idle for 5 full minutes. You want that fresh detergent package to coat the cam lobes and reach the turbocharger bearings under zero load. Then drive like a grandmother for the first 10 miles. This thermal mapping period ensures the oil reaches its stable viscosity before you ask it to protect the engine at high RPMs. Do you jump out of bed and sprint a marathon, or do you stretch first? Your engine needs the same respect. Step 6. Record mileage and oil type in a logbook. Memory is the enemy of maintenance. If you rely on a sticker that falls off or a gut feeling, you're going to overshoot your interval by 2,000 miles eventually. Keep a dedicated log in the glove box. Record the date, the exact mileage, and the specific batch code of the oil filter. If you ever have a warranty claim or try to sell your car for top dollar, a handwritten log is worth more than a stack of receipts. It shows a level of discipline that tells a buyer or a dealership that this engine has been over-maintained. Do you have a paper trail or just a messy glove box? Step 7. Retorque the drain plug. Metal expands and contracts at different rates. Your metal or aluminum oil pan and your drain plug are currently settling into their new heat cycle relationship. Tomorrow morning, after a full commute, get back under there. You don't need to gorilla grip it, just verify it's still snug to its torque spec, usually 25 foot-pounds. This accounts for the crush factor of the washer. If it moved even a millimeter, you just stopped a slow leak that would have eventually left your oil pan bone dry.